Everybody, we're here today. We're going to do some ribs. So I'm going to go over my process of cooking this stuff throughout the day. Step number one, cleaning out the big green egg from the last cook. So last time I was in here, this is all full of the used charcoal from the last time I cooked. So step one is getting there with my hands with some gloves on, clean all that soot out, and putting it in a metal can. And then if there's any like good big pieces of charcoal up in here, I can reuse these. One of the cool things about the big green egg. After I do that, I'll put my bottom back in, and then I'm gonna fill it up and get it prepped. Today we're gonna be cooking with royal oak, which I get from the local store. It's pretty good. Not on sale right now. It's about $12 a bag. I want to get my chimney starter going in a little bit, and we're going to be cooking with pecan wood. So just chunks, since it's a big green egg, it's not actually burning real wood like an offset smoker. And I'll check back in when I'm getting the fire going. I'm going to prep some ribs. Alright, so we're here and we're getting ready to prep our ribs. So right here I have 2 racks of baby back ribs. Each one is a little over 2 pounds a piece. And I got them from my local supermarket. They were on sale, buy one get one free. So picked them up. Every time you're prepping something, you want to make sure you have everything you need on hand. So right here I have the tray these are going to go on after I'm done seasoning them. I have paper towel. I got slather, which I'm going to use yellow mustard. I have a shaker, which has my rub in it. I have a glove to keep everything sanitary for when I'm touching the meat. That's right. And I've got a sharp knife here to cut up any excess fat or to clean up the edges here. That's right.
And gloves.
And I have my little helper here, Addison, to help me out if I need something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I remove the plastic, obviously, and now I'm going to clean up all edges, and I'm going to try and get the silver skin off the back. So on the ribs, on this side right here, there is a membrane, and the whole idea is to cut the membrane off, which will allow the meat to relax a little more and be more tender when you cook it. So that's step one. So I want to get in here, you want to get a sharp knife, and sometimes this is a pain in the butt. Sometimes you have trouble grabbing it, which is why I got a paper towel right here. So I'm going to cut the ends and try and get a hold of the membrane and pull it off.
What is that?
And this is always the trickiest part of doing it. Sometimes it comes off easy.
What is that?
Sometimes these are ribs. There you go.
And who cut the? Is it pig?
All right, so we're gonna try. Don't touch this knife. This knife's sharp. Okay. That's a pig. It is. All right. So I'm going to try to grab the membrane here with a paper towel and pull it off. As you can see here, you see how that's coming off like that? It's a lot easier if you can grab it in one shot and try and get it off. As you can see, it ripped here. That's okay. I'm going to try and come back and get that. But the paper towel, it's really slimy, so the paper towel is going to help you really grab that and rip it off. Okay, now we're going to do the same here and do the same for the other one. And I happen to have a trash can right here below me, so this makes it a little easier to get rid of the excess junk. Alright, you see how that's coming off nice and easy now? Mm-hmm. Alright. Now I do the same for this other one right here. And this is a very sharp knife, so it's making it a little easier to get in there.
Make sure you don't cut your hand.
That's right.
Because Mommy cut her thumb. Because Mommy cut her thumb.
Ah, this one's coming off nice and good.
Did you know Mommy cut her thumb on that thing?
Yeah, she has to be careful, huh?
Yeah. Grown-ups can use it still, right?
That's right. Not kids, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Whoa. You almost hit Rainbow.
Alright. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to look for any excess fat here, like these pieces, and these just clump up and make it not really a great eating experience, and sometimes the meat and fat doesn't render underneath it really good, so I usually cut anything that's excess or hanging off, I cut off. And you don't have to. You can. Baby back ribs are pretty lean to begin with compared to country ribs or St. Louis style. So you don't have to do any of this if you don't want. I just kind of do it for aesthetics, so it kind of looks a little neater after it's cooked. Nothing too crazy.
And as you can see, I have a head 10.
That's right.
See? You saw it, right?
That's right.
Then you have
Don't touch it.
Then you have to get sugar.
Listen, watch your hands here. I got raw meat.
Hmm?
Back up. Alright. I mean, this is pretty lean, this right here. There's not really much for me to do on these. A lot of times with country style ribs, there'll be a lot of excess fat running through here, or big piece of meat that really keeps it from cooking nice and even by the rib meat on the bone.
That's so cool.
So there's not really much for these to do. These are pretty clean. You can see the tips are just about showing here on the ends. And the membrane's been pulled off.
Who cut the pig?
The butcher.
The butcher?
The butcher, yeah. They cut the pig up.
Well, pigs are nice.
And they're yummy too.
Whoa. Well, they are nice, and what are they called? That
Pig
the
pen?
pig.
The pig pen where they live. So now, anytime we cook a meat, we like to do a slather here. And that
Who cut the pig?
the butcher.
Well, the butcher shouldn't cut the pig because it's nice.
Oh, okay. I'll tell him. Now don't touch any of this stuff. It's raw meat, okay?
I put mustard on it.
So we're putting mustard on because that's going to help our rub stick to the meat. And that way it's nice and yummy when we cook it.
That is yummy.
You
And it
don't-
will be
don't
nice
touch.
and spicy.
That's right. Don't touch it. It's raw meat, okay? See, I got my glove on?
That's yummy.
I got my glove on.
I love mustard.
Alright, I'm going to do the other side.
Sometimes it hurts my belly.
You don't need that much of it. It's already pretty wet as it is. But it's just to give us a good grip for the rub. Don't touch. Don't touch. Raw meat. Okay? Alright, watch out. Alright, so now I got my shaker here. So I have a coarse rub in here. And the rub I got from an online forum that I belong to. The guy who runs the forum has his own rub called Jeff's Rub. I'll post that link with the video to where you can get the rub. It's basically a mild rub with not a lot of spice, a little bit of brown sugar, paprika, salt, pepper, garlic powder. You know, your normal barbecue rub, nothing crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a really good amount in here and shake it really good, okay? Give it a good coating.
That's gonna be nice.
That's going to be good.
That's gonna be super spicy on the bottom. That's gonna be yucky.
And I'm not going to be shy about getting this on there. Nice and thick rub. This will give us a good, something for the smoke to adhere to when we put it in the smoker later. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And then we are going to eat it later.
That's right, after we cook it. So that's it. So now I'm going to plop these down.
That's going to be yucky though.
We're going to plop these up here on our tray. I'm going to cover them in saran wrap. I'm going to let them sit for a little bit and set up while we get the smoker going. How's that sound?
Good.
All right. So now that we have our ribs setting up, we're going to get our big green egg all ready to go. So I've come out earlier and I cleaned this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my chimney starter lit. So what I have here is a chimney starter full of lumped charcoal. I have my charcoal in my smoker already pre-filled with pecan chunks, which I've mixed in between all the large chunks. And I have a starter here. So that is a charcoal starter cube, which is all wax. And a little bit of paper in it, I believe. So I'm going to light this starter up. And then once this gets lit, this is going to light our charcoal. Just going to let that go for like 20 minutes or so. Get these red hot. As you can see, the starter cube's underneath. And the brand I'm using is this. These ones I got from the local store. And when that's done, I'm going to put that and place it right over here and get that going. And then we're going to wait for it to come up to temp. Alright, so it's been about 20 minutes. And you can see that these are red hot, white hot coals now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour these in one spot on top of my lumped charcoal I prepared. And I'm trying to keep them centered in one spot. And the reason for that is I don't want it to spread too much. So now I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to put it on there. So what I'm going to do now is, you can see that in the big green egg, in order to smoke, you need this heat deflector plate that's down there. That's a ceramic plate. And I have my, it's called a PS Woo ring. So this makes it easier to set my smoke setter in and to raise the level of my grate. I'm going to close this down. I'm going to put the cap on. And I'm going to let this set up for a little bit. With the big green egg, you want to let it get up to temp slowly, because if you overshoot your temperature, it's really hard to get it down. So what I do is I crack this to about that width. I crack the little daisy right there to about that. And then right here, I'm going to set this to be about right there. I'm going to let this come up and settle in. The idea is to get this to get anywhere between 220 and 275 for smoking. And if it's in that range, then it's always going to be nice, low and slow. You don't have to worry about that too much. So we'll let this come up to temp. If you notice, I did not put a water pan in. With ribs, you do not need a water pan, especially in a ceramic cooker. It maintains moisture very well. So we will come back when it's time to put the ribs on. Alright, so here we are. I don't know if you can see this here. We have our temperature up to right about 230-ish. So that's perfect. So that's right where we want it. So It looks like this setting is working perfect that I've been using to get around 225. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the ribs out of here that's set up, and I'm going to put them down meat side up first. And we're going to use the 2-2-1 method with baby back ribs. All you need is you need like 5 hours roughly at 225 to 250 on the smoker. And if you were cooking country style ribs, you'd be doing the 3-2-1 method, which will give you 6 hours. So first what we're going to do is plop these on here. And I got some coals on here I need to get off. The leftover of my wax here. And now I'm going to plop these on here. So we're going to do meat side up, meaty side up, and lie these right next to each other. Okay, now you don't want to leave the lid open too long. So I'm going to touch this, but I'm going to clean this handle when I come back. So I'm going to let them sit up. Let me put my thing back here. And we're going to let these cook. We're not going to have to touch this or mess with it. Big Green Egg keeps its temperature. It's not like an offset smoker where you have to keep messing with it. And we're going to let these cook for 2 hours. And then we're going to wrap them in foil and then do 2 more hours. We'll check back in. Alright, so here we go. You can see my temperature has rose to almost 300, even though I've kept my settings like this. So I might just close it down a little bit more. Just let it come down. That's right. Alright. And what I've done is, it's been 2 hours I have not opened the lid. There's a saying that goes, if you're looking, you ain't cooking. So I trust that as long as the temperature is where it should be, I'm not worried about what it looks like inside the grill. So what I've done is, we're doing a 2-2-1 I mentioned earlier. This has been 2 hours for the first step. The next cooking step is going to be wrapping in foil for another 2 hours. So I use the method of putting butter in the foil and then placing the ribs. I flip them over meaty side down in the foil and then put them back on for another 2 hours. So let's get a look at what these guys look like. Woo! That is nice. So you can see here, this is cooking nicely. You can see the meat is pulling away, pulling back, and exposing some of the tips of those ribs. So we're gonna put these in here on top of this butter. And then we're going to shut this lid while we do that so it doesn't get too much air in it and flame up. So I'm going to wrap these up. I put butter in here. I'm going to wrap them up. We're going to put them back on for another 2 hours. And then we're going to, the last step will be 1 hour on the grill with no foil. 1 hour on the smoker with no foil. So let's get a good look here. There we go. See that? Alright, check back in a little bit. Oh, here we are. Almost 2 hours later. We are around 280 degrees. Let's open these up and see what we got. Woo! Juicy. Alright, these things are ready to go. Check them out. You can see here, cooked really far down. I like my ribs fall off the bone, so these are not competition ribs. I cook them how I like them. I don't listen to all that stuff that people say about, oh, it shouldn't be fall off the bone, it should be sticking to the bone, take a bite out of it. Wow, look at that. Ooh. That's nice. So you know what? I'm gonna leave these. I'm not even gonna do the last hour. I don't really want these to cook down anymore. I think what I'm probably gonna do is I'll probably get a little apple cider vinegar, spray it on here, let them sit for a little bit while I make the sides up. You can see here, these are tender. Normally a lot of people cook them a little bit less than that. I think it's cooked down a lot because of that temperature spiked up on here. So when you're cooking at a higher temperature like that, you're gonna see that it's gonna cook down a little more. So we'll check back when we're all said and done, and I might spray a little apple cider vinegar on these, let them set up a little bit, and we'll make some sides and make some chicken on here.